Welcome to the Sacred Emergence Podcast. I'm your host, Lala Wang, and I'm so thrilled that you're here. This is a place where you'll be guided to living your most aligned life so that your truest, most radiant self can emerge. We'll be jamming on topics ranging from spirituality, entrepreneurship, to wellness and lifestyle design, and everything in between that can support you to grow, evolve, and shine, all the while not taking ourselves too seriously. So if you're ready to step into your leadership, break through limiting beliefs, own all of who you are, and expand in abundance, grab yourself your faith cup of tea and let's dive in. Hello, it's Lala Wang here. I am so excited to introduce to you our guest for today's interview, Lala Wang, aka Lala, and I wanted to invite you to stay through the very end past the outro music because I decided to keep in a really cute, funny blooper that happened during our interview just to share like this is all real life and have so much fun. Enjoy the interview and stay to the very end. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Sacred Emergence. It's Lala Wang here, and today I have a lovely guest that I'm so excited to introduce you to. Well, welcome Lala Wang of The Womanly Way, and oh my God, you are all gonna love Lala. Her and I met through AFB and through our Figure 6 mentorship coaching program, and Lala joins us by way of Sydney, Australia. Australia's in the house. Welcome, Lala.
Thank you.
We're gonna
bring the Australian sunshine to you today.
Thank you. It is cold in Seattle, which is crazy, but I'm just like so excited to talk to you because I love talking to you, and I cannot wait for all the listeners to get to know you and just learn about you and your magic and your bubbliness, your bubbliness.
Thank you for having me.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so well, you're incredible. So you have a full-time job in the construction world in Australia, and you also have like a beautiful, thriving business as a coach. And I just love seeing your work, and I just love you and your energy. So why don't we start with, well, let's see. Why don't we start with The Womanly Way? Tell me what inspired it?
Well, actually, I resisted that womanly way for a very long time. I remember when I first started my coaching training, it was back in 2015. And I've always been known as this construction chick because there's not many Asian female in construction. And people just get really sort of, whenever they meet me, they're like, what? You work in construction? I'm like, yeah.
Like a badass.
I'm like, what's wrong with that? And for me, it's almost like I cannot see what other people see in me when I first started this personal development process. And I've always thought, I don't want to be like the stereotyping a female coach that coaches women in construction. I'm just like, no, I'm a bit of a troublemaker. I don't like to follow the rules. I'm like, I actually want to coach guys in construction. And also because in 2017, one of my colleagues actually committed suicide just before Christmas. And for me, it was like, that's my calling. I work in the male-dominated industry. I'm helping guys. But what the universe had done for me was keep chucking female clients at me, going like, no, this is your path. This is your path. This is your path. I have no male client when I was like, yep, my niche is male, but no male clients. And I was like, okay, something's wrong here. And it wasn't until earlier this year, I was like, okay, I surrender now. It's been long enough. I'm surrendering. And that was when The Womanly Way was born.
I love it. Okay, so you wanted to work with male clients, but the universe kept bringing women to you.
I'm like, what's wrong with this? And I think sometimes it's just like, we live in our own bubble and not really seeing the signs. It's like there was an ad or somebody was telling me, there's this guy that's drowning and he said, universe, save me. And there's like all these helicopters and rescue helicopters coming through. And the guy just didn't see the helicopters. Like, universe, save me. Another helicopter came through. And he went onto heaven and saw God, and he's like, well, God, why didn't you help me? God's like, what do you mean? I send you all these helicopters. He's like, oh.
Oh, that was you.
Yeah.
So what does the womanly way, like, what does it mean for you? Like, what does it represent?
Wow. For me, it's actually a way of being. For me, it's my way of being, to not to completely abandon the masculine, because all of us has the masculine and the feminine in us, but it's finding that balance. And the way that I look at it, it comes down to also the 3 pillars that I have, which is pleasure, strategy, and connectedness. And the strategy is that part that is about, you know, the masculine, the logic, because quite often we could be out there with our connectedness, which is our connection to the divine, and our pleasure, which is the fun part, but we don't have strategies and logic to bring our dreams into reality. And for me, it's like, if I could tap into having fun, having pleasure, and if I can tap into all the wisdoms that the universe is bringing to me, and then bring it through into the world, almost like I talk about it as human language. If I can bring all those knowledge, bring all those things into human form, then that's how I could live a life of having all the dreams and everything that I wanted. And quite often, you know, I talk about with Jana, our coach, is that dream beyond dream, the dreams beyond dreams life, right? How do you bring your dreams into reality? You still need to take action. So it's finding that perfect balance in harmony with your masculine and feminine self. Oh my God, I've got tingles right now. And really just have everything that you want. And I'm a big believer in having everything that we want in our lives. Maybe not all at the same time, right? I've got a lot of big dreams, and they may not all happen at the same time because that would just be too overwhelming. But the reason that I could have a full-time career in a senior management role and have a business is because of my connectedness, my joy, but also being able to action them at the same time.
I love that. So I'm curious, like, when you were first starting out with your coaching business, what made you, okay, so you wanted to work with men because it like out of the box, but why not work with women? Like, what was like the resistance to it?
Because I was bullied by women when I was little.
Oh, I get this. Yeah.
Yes. I think it's just like, I've never been accepted by women growing up. And it's really funny you asked that question. It's only just dawned on me in the last little while. The more that I learn to love myself and my womanly way, the more amazing woman comes into my life. And it's almost like that's a part of me that I needed to heal. And until I could heal that part of me, the self-acceptance part of me and the womanly way, I was operating in a very masculine mindset. And that's why I was successful in construction, right? I have a lot of that masculine in me. And even if you met me, say 4 years ago, I was a bit scary, really.
Like do not mess with
like ball breaker. It's ball breaker an American term, or was it an Australian term?
I get it, ball breaker, totally.
Yeah. And that's how I become. I was a bully. Like, I would bully my consultants and my tradespeople on site in order to get what I want. And I wasn't used to this way of, you know, a different way of operating. It's like, I don't have to be so tough, and I don't have to put the armor on and wanted to break people before they break me.
Wow. I mean, I get it. Cause like there's the whole Mean Girls, you know, I mean, it's real. Mean Girls is real. And I've actually, like, to be really frank, I've been on both sides. I've been a mean girl, and I've received being from a mean, you know, and I get it. And, so I totally, like, I love how you said you have to go through your own, like, acceptance of self and love yourself, that more amazing women came into your life. And like, for me, for the longest time, I've actually never, I mean, I had one female roommate, and that was because I had to have one when I was interning here, when one of my summers when I was an intern. But when I was like, when I had the choice, I'd only live with guys. I never had female roommates by choice. I'm like, guys are just easier to live with.
Right.
And so it's like when the idea of like working with women, like coaching women and stuff, like I get along better with guys. But now, like, you know, I think with personal growth work, it's like we are surrounded by so many amazing women. You know what I mean? So I love like just your own journey, your own process, and the amount of healing work that you had to do and the amount of healing work I had to do. Because I didn't like, yeah, same thing. Like I was like, I don't know, bullied, but I was like, I get it. Like I was always like the one that was cast out, which is probably why I turned into a bully at some point. And then like, you know what I mean? It's like the sick cycle when we're younger. So, okay. Anyway, so that is amazing. So now you attract really amazing women clients. And so you have so many cool programs. And even before this we started connecting for this episode, you were finishing day 2 of one of your latest programs. Talk more about it, because I just love how you call in
Soulnificent.
Yes, soulnificent. I love it. So share more about it, and then also share how you called in your man. I just love it.
Oh. Okay. Let's start with soulnificent. So it's actually a makeup of 2 words: soul, which is soulmate, your soul attraction, and magnificent, because I believe every soul is magnificent. And the idea came to me was like, well, number one, I want to create a fancy name for my course. I don't just want to call it a soulmate something.
Yeah.
And then I thought about how we always want to attract our significant others or other, and how we look at our significant. So we never call ourselves our significant self, right? But we call our other half the significant others. So what if we're both magnificent and we're both significant? Because I believe that a lot of people going, oh, I'm looking for the person to complete me. So which means I'm a half, he's a half, 2 together becomes 1. But when you're at half, you're not complete and you're waiting for the other person to complete you. But what if you're both magnificent? You're both magnificent and both significant enough to be a 1. So then 1 + 1 actually equals to 3.
Yeah.
Because I know, I love this, right? It's not 1 + 1 equals to 2, because you're an individual who's full. He's an individual that's full. And when you have the 2 of you together, you create this, it's like this divine unity, which is actually another life form on its own. And I quite often talked about Scott is an individual who's got his ambition and his goals. So Scott's my partner. By the way, you know what I've learned when I was in New York last year? So apparently on your side of the world, if I say my partner, it's like same-sex partner. But in Australia, like partner to us is like, we're not married, but we're not just boyfriend and girlfriend. Is that right?
I think there could be an undertone. If someone says partner, it's more vague, right? Because it's like some people be like, okay, is it male or female? Like, you know, so sometimes I'll just say, like, if I'm in a relationship, I'll say like my, what do I say? I don't know if I say my partner. I usually will say my boyfriend. So I can see what you mean. But I know
confused a lot of people when I was in New York telling them about my partner. Like, so you are, I'm like, what?
I have heard people in a heterosexual relationship refer to their significant other as their partner. But it does bring up an ambiguity, because I will wonder, is it male or female? I don't assume it's the same sex, but I will wonder, is it male or female? Like that's
whereas in Australia, if you're not married, it's a partner. It doesn't matter whether it's male or female.
Gotcha.
Or same sex, yeah.
We can go through all of the Aussie slang.
I know.
Oh my God.
But I'm not pure Aussie slang though, so sometimes I still have my New Zealand slang because I lived there for 12 years. So yeah.
I love it. Lala is like, is it Oceanasia? What's the
Probably. Yeah, because I was born in Taiwan and I lived in New Zealand for 12 years and I lived in Australia for like 15.
Oh
So
my God. It's like, I just can't wait for COVID to lift.
Asia Pacific.
Asia
maybe?
Pacific. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Or I just like,
Come over.
I know. That's the more I hear about Australia and all, and like, I'm just like, I want to go. So. Okay, so keep going.
That was so magnificent. So essentially it's a 33-day course or challenge, depends on how we're going to call it, to work through how do we to go through, actually it's my soul attraction system. Essentially it's a acronym short for HEAL, so HEAL. Heal, so H is for heal, not very conventional. E is for the energetic, how do you actually call in your soulmate, and I'll talk about a little bit more when I talk about how I attracted Scott. A is attraction, and L is actually for living the womanly way.
So heal.
So yeah, so the energetic is really what I love. You know, it's when I attracted Scott, and it is a very funny story. And I always say to my client now, vision boards 100% works because I attracted Scott on my vision board. 100% work, but just be very careful what you put on your vision board. Because I wasn't very careful.
I love it. I love how, okay, you have to go. Like, you have to share your story. I just love your story.
So I had a specific board that was still on my iPhone. I had an iPhone back then. And you know how on iPhone you can put all your photos together into like a folder, and you can actually play almost like a video with background music? So that's what I did. And every morning and night, that was like my love prescription. In the morning,
I did not know that. I did not know that.
Yeah, that's a love prescription.
I need to do that. Okay, keep going.
So you pick all the photos that resembles the relationship that you want to have, right? So I literally look at all those photos every day. Well, where I wasn't very careful was that those photos, every single guy in my photo collection with ginger, like red hair. I wasn't very careful because I actually, before then, I didn't like ginger, because in Australia a lot of ginger came from, I don't actually know, I'm not gonna go that route. It's a bit rude. But I never had good working relationship with ginger people, like all the stereotypical things that people normally say about ginger.
You're so funny.
And I was like, it will never work out. I hate ginger people. It just never work. So one day it dawned on me. I was like, I'm looking at my video. I'm like, holy, all the little words that you can use to describe when you were in shock. I was like, ass and shivers. They're all ginger. And I was like, well, it's too late. This is created. I'm not going to go and look for other photos. I love these photos. It's just going to have to work. They're not going to be ginger. And when I met Scott, I was forming a mastermind where the idea was like, we'll all come together every 4 to 6 months and share our learnings through our own personal development journey. And there was a money saving way to learn more, because I was like, okay, I spent 10 grand a year learning personal development. If I get 6 other friends who learn different things, then that's $60,000 of value for my 10 grand investment. But we were one person short. So one of my good friends back then, she's like, oh, what about my friend Scott? I'm like, I don't know your friend Scott, but yeah, send him my way. I'll do an interview on him just to see whether he's the right fit. So I full on interview him. And because I couldn't find anything on Scott's Facebook page, he was a very private person. I'm like, I can't find anything about this dude besides he liked cars and he went to the Philippines for a holiday. Other than that, there's nothing I know about this guy. So I full on interviewed him, and then we become really good friends. And then because we both like cars, we went out for a drive. And one day I was thinking, I'm like, actually, I kind of like this guy. And he's got like a full on beard. If you go and look on his profile, it's ginger. He hasn't got like,
I love it.
He hasn't got ginger hair. He hasn't got ginger, like he's bald, and even when he's got hair, it's like blondish, but he's got ginger beard.
That's hilarious. Like, your subconscious knew. It's like, no, we're gonna just pull out all the ginger because I love it. Love that story.
Be careful what you put on your vision board. It works.
Oh, that's awesome. And you guys have been together for like
2.5 years.
yay. That's good.
Yeah.
So basically, so you talked about so I love how you and Scott got together. I just feel like it's such a great story. And I love how, so like how you work, like you have like your strategy, right? And you have so much fun. Like you're literally like, I just love how you work, because you also have like your spirit team, you have your connection to the divine. You're so playful. You're a generator. Like you're incredible. So what's my whole point? Share like your process of, I just feel like whenever you come up with a program, like it's based on your personal experience, but you also you have a deeper connection to how you create your courses. And so maybe like the question I'm asking is like, with your connectivity to the spirit world and to the divine, like what's like, share that journey for yourself, like how that came to be.
I'll talk about my process first, and then I'll rewind back to how I get to connect with the divine, because I wouldn't have imagined in 5 years ago, like, what? So generally, my courses come to me in the last spirit of moment, and generally it will be first thing in the morning when I wake up, and I just have like this idea, be like, I got this idea.
I love it.
So I also call myself an idea channeler, because ideas come to me. And also going back to like the generator, I get things done pretty quickly. And if anyone has read Elizabeth Gilbert's book, I think it's called Big Magic, then you know ideas like to come to people who make them happen. So that's what I believe. But generally they just come to me and be like, okay, so if this idea is coming to me, what can I do? It's almost like, even when my book came to me, it didn't come to me. I went to my psychic. She's like, you're writing a book. I'm like, how? Don't ask how, just know that you're writing a book. So generally for me, it's just trusting that that's the course that I'm meant to deliver. And I would just meditate on my courses. And Soulnificent came to me, actually. I was like, I'm doing course for soulmate. What am I going to do? And every single day I get a little bit of snippets. And the more that I think about it, the more I live myself in that energy of the course that I'm about to create, the more ideas came to me. Like some days I'll get really stuck. I'm just like, guys, come on. And I literally look up and go, guys, come on, give me some ideas. I was driving. I was like, okay. I talk to myself a lot as well. I think, Michelle, you do too.
all the time.
And driving is the time when I talk to myself. And I was literally talking to myself. I was like, okay, we're going to do 33 days. I'm like, how? We'll have 33 days. Okay, how much am I going to charge? 333. And if someone want to work with me long-term, it's 3333. I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, that feels right. And then the information just gradually comes to me. And generally they don't come to me until the day before the course is about to happen.
Wow. I love how you just trust it.
If I don't trust it, it doesn't come. And then I go into this freak out mode. And at the beginning I used to freak out. I'm like, I feel like I'm letting people down, and but it always comes to me. And so now I just know it's never going to come to me until sometimes it's like literally the hour before the course is about to start and I'm about to open up the door. I get day one, and then day two come the hour before day two. And it just happened.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that process. And so, because like when in our mastermind group, you'll talk about, oh my God, like I was just connecting with my spirit team and this is the download that I get. And I'm just like, that's incredible. How like, you're just so open. Well, I've seen your human design chart, so it makes sense to me. But like, I'm just like, that is awesome. So I love how you work, and I love like how trusting you are of the process.
It's really, I think when I was little, I used to have imaginary friends and inklings, but the outside world sort of said to me, no, that's not possible, right? So quite often as kids, we sort of live life based on what our parents are telling us. So I sort of, that part of me got really sort of suppressed and dormant. I didn't believe that I was connected for a very long time. My parents are both very devoted Buddhists, and they meditate. Like my mom meditates daily, day and night, twice a day. I just like, I can't do that. I can't. For the longest times of when I first started my meditation journey, it was like, I still remember my first meditation, 20 seconds.
Wow.
I'm the kind of person that can't sit still based on my generator sort of, energetic. I can't sit still. I'm like, and I always thought I'm the person that can't sit still. I have multiple voices in my head that I thought were just like the weirdest thing. So 20 seconds was my first meditation that I attempted to do. And then I was just like, no, I was rock bottom back then, like just separated from my ex-husband, and, I was going through a lot of career challenges and whatnot. So I was like, no, I need to find something. And for some reason, I just thought meditation was the thing. And from 20 seconds to a minute to 2 minutes, and slowly build up that muscle, really. And I believe when you're opening yourself up to the opportunity, to the connection, opportunities will come to you. And it was really funny. Like my grandma's probably the most connected person in our family. And it was interesting because I couldn't be there. I went home a day late. So when I went home back to Taiwan, she's already passed the day before. But it was her passing that has given me the biggest gift. It's almost as if she's passing her spiritual gift to me, and it was up to me to expand it and grow it and use that to contribute back to humankind. So
I just got chills.
I know. And it's, for me now, it's a calling, and it's like, it's given me so much more purpose for what I'm doing in this world. And it opened me up to like my spiritual team. I wouldn't be talking about, if you go back to my life even 3 years ago, I wouldn't be talking about my spiritual team at all.
So 3 years ago, tell me what you were like 3 years ago.
I had just started my spiritual journey, and it was like crystals. I remember my relationship coach back then and said, you need to set up a love corner. I'm like, hey, how do I do that? And there was a crystal shop. She's like, go and get some crystals. So I went into the crystal shop, and I went in, I have no idea. I just know something pink. Something I knew. Just give me something pink. And then the shop assistant clearly saw me being very lost. She's like, what are you looking for? I'm like, I've been asked to set up a love corner.
Love it.
And she's like, yep, I know exactly what you need. And then she just picked all those stuff. I'm like, how do you even know? And the funniest thing, or the woo-wooest thing, is she's like, I connected to Guan Yin. So for those of you who Buddhists, or if you know anything about like Buddhists, you'll know the goddess Guan Yin. I'm like, who? Because I've always referred to her in Mandarin. And then so she showed me this picture. I'm like, oh, I know her. She's been protecting my family for ages, because like, my grandma's got her statue, my auntie's got her statue, and my whole family is devoted to her. And like, holy moly, so this thing actually maybe works. And that was the beginning. Like I was very doubtful, and even until last year I was like, I don't think I'm connected. I was talking to my back then spiritual coach. Her name's Athena Bailey. She's amazing and incredible, so gifted. And I said, I don't think I'm connected the same way as you. She's like, what do you mean? You are connected. I'm like, no, because you see your team. You see all these beings. I can't see them. She's like, you're not meant to see them because that's not you. How do you? I'm like, I feel them. I feel the words coming. So she's like, well, yeah, that's them. I'm like, you sure it's not like me imagining and talking to myself? It's just all in my head. She's like, no, you feel it in your gut. You feel it in your head, and you get the information. That's how you connect with them. And that's how I really learned to connect with my team and really develop that muscle. So I believe that we're all connected. It's just how we develop that muscle and really find our own gift in talking to the divine.
I love that. That's so cool. And so it's just so fascinating how, because I'm like, you and I met, well, pretty much when AFE, like for when I joined AFE.
So March, I think.
Yeah, March.
Yeah.
And even then, like I didn't super know you that well. It was like I reached out to you because I saw that you were in figure 6. And I wonder how it's going, like, because I was interested in joining. And I just loved your vibe because you were like, you were just so fun. You were just so fun. So I only know you from earlier this year. And so it was actually really cool to hear how you got to where you are, and just all the different pieces, because it's just fascinating, especially as another Asian woman. It's like talking about the spiritual side of things it's just different. I don't know. It's just different.
It's kind of weird. Like
it is weird. It is weird, but I get it. Okay, so Soulnificent, and then the womanly way. So we were talking about like embodying the feminine in the masculine world, right? And you work in construction, so you have a lot of male colleagues. How do you navigate, like how do you use your your womanly way to navigate that type of environment?
I'll talk about how I used to navigate, and that was like before I know the womanly way, but I'm kind of tapping into the womanly way. I remember reading a book called Why the Good Girls Don't Get the Corner Office.
Oh yes, I know that one. Yeah.
And it talked about don't feed them.
Don't
feed them food.
Don't feed the girls.
Don't feed the guys food. Don't have like food in your office, because a lot of girls in an office role would have like snacks and things, and they would like, if you come to my office, you get fed.
Oh, interesting.
And intuitively, I know that wasn't going to be how I do my business, right? I always feed my guys because I know the moment you feed them, they love you.
Especially because your environment is kitchens.
Yes.
If I feed, like they would just die because I don't cook. But anyway, that's a different story.
So I got known for this cheek that whenever you come into our site shed, not an office, but a site shed, like a container shed, there's always a jar of chocolate brownies.
That you baked?
I baked them.
Oh, goodness.
And I think innately I just know about people and behavior and really observing how people react. And I know every single one of my colleagues as individuals. And so I know when they're about to have a bad day, and there's always a batch of fresh brownies ready for them. So that was like my very fundamental, but also very sort of rough understanding of the womanly way. It's that this was 15 years ago when I first stepped into the industry, a lot of the female role models, there's few and far between to start with, but a lot of them are very masculine. It's almost like they're just like a guy, but in the female body. But what I have observed was that they actually don't get a lot of good reactions from guys. And what I've learned over the years is, okay, so they would work during the day, then they would go home and face their wife. But why would they want to deal with another person that's just like their wife, but a lot more aggressive at work? So that was my first sort of aha moment in the way that I have to work with guys have to be different. And the more different I am, the more feminine I am, the more I stand out from the industry of masculine energy. And that's when I started feeding them and really tapping into my feminine energy. It's just like, hey, and it's actually like a lot of girls are saying, oh, it's so yuck, and people take it for granted. I'm like, you don't understand. That's your biggest gift. Like guys would say yes if you ask them really nicely. And quite often before I hang out a phone call, when I have a request, I'll be like, look, I know this may sound weird, but I really appreciate what you're doing. And that doesn't happen a lot in our industry. It's just like, get this done, or else chop, hurry up. And it just, when you can go into an industry that's very masculine in a slightly different approach, people get sort of, they take a step back at first, going like, what drug are you on? But once they get to know me, and a lot of feedback that I've been getting over the years is, you are what's that phrase that they use? A breath of fresh air. Because I treat them differently. I actually treat them like human beings, and guys love to be admired, right? They want to know that they're providing something for you. And I read this from the Queen's Code. They want to know that they're providing something to make you happy. Every single guy wanted to make a female happy, and that just makes their day. So if I can somehow contribute to that and make them understand whatever they're doing is actually helping me out and making my day a lot better, that makes them happy. That makes me happy. That means they want to do more for me next time, because they know when next time I ask for a favor and they do it, I would say, I really appreciate it. You just make my day.
Mm-hmm. I love that. See, that's like just really smart right there, that you're like, well, first of all, you read the book, like, Nice Girls Don't Get the Corner Office. And you're like, well, F that, I'm going to do it my way.
Yeah, pretty much, yes.
You trusted your intuition and what was being guided. And I love like your perspective on it, because I heard someone say, like, in order to like with men, right? And then as women, like, like, we cannot fight men with physical strength. Like we got to do it, not fight, like, you know what I mean? But we need to honor who we are as women and our femininity in order to make change. And it's not by like sword with sword, because we're not going to win like that. Like we're, as us women, we like, that's not our power. It really isn't, right? So it's like, it's by leaning into our femininity and what is actually our gifts, that can start changing the paradigm. And so I love that you're like, well, I'm bringing my chocolate brownies and I'm going to feed them.
By the way, they're not special chocolate brownies. They're just normal chocolate brownies.
When I said like chocolate brownies, I was like hash brown, like hash.
No, I get that all the time, because people see my brownies like, what's in the brownies? I'm like, dudes, hold on a sec. They're normal brownies.
It's got sugar and
chocolate and chocolate.
Oh, that's really funny. That's awesome. Oh, you're such a joy. Okay, well, how can people learn about you?
Jump onto my Facebook, Lala Wang, and you get to know me that way. Really, for me, my life is about what's the simplest and what's the easiest way for me to connect with people, and I'm all about connection. But I don't like complicated systems and processes, because I don't have the time to actually manage this and that. And I don't like to read emails. I don't send people mail lists. So the only way really to get to know me is just come and be a friend on my Facebook.
Yay! So you have your Facebook group, The Womanly Way.
Winning the Womanly Way.
Winning the Womanly Way. And then Facebook, and then you're also on Instagram as well. So I'll put the links on there.
No worries.
Yay. Well, it was such a pleasure, Lala. Thanks for your time. And I'm so I just love connecting with you. So I'm glad that we were able to make this happen.
Thank you so much. And this is like such a great way to spend my Sunday morning. Yay. It is Sunday here.
I know, it's Saturday here. All right, cool. So for all you listeners, if this episode resonated with you, please share this on Instagram. You can share it in the stories or Facebook stories. Tag us both and we will share it and send so much love. Thank you, everybody. Have a good one. Thanks, Lala. Join our free private Facebook group community, Sacred Emergence, to receive more connection, guidance, and support. And take part in our 5-day Inner Confidence Challenge to not only boost your confidence, but to help activate your inner leadership. Details in the show notes. Thank you for listening to the Sacred Emergence podcast. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss an episode, and thank you in advance for sharing this with others who can benefit. All right. Thank you for staying to the very end. Here is the blooper as promised.
And it's almost for me, did you hear that toilet flush?
I'm keeping that in there. I'm just saying. You're so cute.
It wasn't me.
I know that.
And the next thing is like, because Scott and I would both, like he's got his own thing on YouTube and he's got his own channels and whatnot. And so we both have this rules. We know what to do. And he just walked in front of me and all I saw was his face. And I'm like, holy moly, what did I just do?
That is so funny.
Welcome to a 1-bedroom apartment where everything happens in my 50 square meter home.
I love it.
Anyway,